much is a funeral in the United States? I'm gonna guess a funeral is more than $600. This isn't even bury yourself money. Not even. And I'll be honest, like, at this point, I'd probably just take that money and get fucked up. Like, with all the other problems that I have in my life, with everything else that's going on, if I was evicted, if I was worried about being homeless, if I don't have health care, if the COVID was just ravaging me and my family, $600, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm getting fucked up. That's what that money's going towards. And I know I'll be judged for it, but at the end of the day, fuck, what am I left with? To all you Yanks, to everyone located in the beautiful, brilliant US of A, the richest, most powerful country on the planet, the most prosperous country, the ordained, chosen, swinging penis of the globe, as so saith, from on high, America. Y'all are finally getting your second relief stimulus checks to the tune, I believe, of $600 dues. $600 dues, if I'm not mistaken, right?
As we discussed a moment ago, Congress reached an agreement overnight for COVID relief that will help to ease the crushing burden of this pandemic, at least for a while. It took a holiday deadline and the imminent expiration of aid passed 9 months ago to move Capitol Hill to action at the last possible moment. So who exactly will be helped by the new legislation?
Wait, is that Batman? It kind of looks like Batman. If so, well played.
And why has it taken our elected representatives so long to address the ongoing national crisis? NBC's Garrett Hake has our Sunday focus.
There are roughly 13 million Americans dependent on federal unemployment benefits. As usual, it's taking a crisis for Congress to act, bickering and mixing their metaphors to the bitter end.
You can use whatever football analogy you want. We're on
Nice.
the 5-yard line or the 1-yard line.
Oh, bring on the metaphors, Chuck. I want to hear all the metaphors.
Conclude our talks, draft legislation, and land this plane.
But since March, when Congress passed the $2.2 trillion CARES Act, party leaders mostly just sniped at each other.
An assault on Americans' workers.
They're really bullying small business owners.
By early November, West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin had seen enough. He reached out to Maine Republican Susan Collins, and soon the two had launched a bipartisan working group. Their 600 pages of legislation became the jumping-off point for a new relief bill.
How important was the work that the bipartisan group did to get this?
Oh, so important. And I'm sure some of you have heard here, by the way, that it might cost to the tune of $300 billion. I mean, that was the previous cost for those $1,200 stimulus checks y'all got. $300 billion. It seems like a lot of money. And I, for one, am curious how you're going to pay for it. Because where does this money keep coming from? You can't just print money. It's not a tree.
The full details of what will be in the relief package have yet to be released, but the package is expected.
So it's going to be a $600 direct stimulus payment for Americans under a certain income level. That income level is $99,000. So if you happen to earn $99,000, or let's say $98,000, $999, you're going to be accepted. So that's a strange threshold. Second, yes, it's going to be means tested. Oh, you best believe this is going to be means tested, because if it's not means tested, then all the welfare kings and queens and paupers and dukes will come out of the woodwork, and every single one of them will simply try to get something that is not belonging to them. All right, so that's why means testing is very important. Make sure you know this. Everything should be means tested. Everything. I don't think you should be able to order food until you've been properly vetted. You know what's weird to me, though, is some of these numbers. The new COVID relief bill. $500 million for Israel. What? At a time when, domestically things are so fucked, why'd you need $500 million to send to Israel? Last I checked, Israel isn't doing that badly. I don't completely understand this. The legislative package also contains $2 billion for Air Force missile procurement and related expenses. $2 billion for Air Force missiles and related expenses. Again, like, I get it. Like, how are we going to pay for this? I understand. These things are tricky, but you're spending money on things I don't quite understand. Like, at a time when people, I think over 300,000 Americans have died from a disease that is mostly preventable as long as we just had some measures in place, which unfortunately did not happen, you want to spend billions of dollars on Air Force missiles or millions of dollars on Israel. $4 billion for Navy weapons procurements. $2 billion on the Space Force. I forgot about that. The war on space. The war on space, that one's interesting. Because I like how it's almost like, it's not too tangible. The way Mike Pence gets to talk about it, he gets to stand there and posture. Now everyone gets to posture. I can't wait to hear Biden and Kamala Harris take over the Space Force division and say, yes, we always knew this. Our greatest enemy was always going to come from space. Which space, we don't know. When, we can't say. Perhaps we haven't the time, or haven't we the space? It should be noted this is part of a consolidated appropriations package, which is true. COVID relief is tied into the continuing resolution. This is also true, but these figures are still useful to see what our government's priorities are. Love the low-key accusations that I'm self-loathing. The first tweet should have read, the spending package that COVID relief is part of, and not the COVID relief bill. There's a whole bunch of bullshit that's been tacked onto this, of course. And here's the problem. When you get these omnibus bills, which this is, basically it's forcing the hand of everyone who doesn't vote on them to look like a ghoul. Right? Like, hey, by the way, families are dying. People need this right now. Are you going to help? And it's like, well, of course I'm going to help. Yes, I'd like to get that money in the hands of Americans. It's like, okay, cool. Then sign here and let's give $500 million to Israel. It's not what you just said, though. You did. What does that? What do these two things have to do with each other? I don't completely understand. And then on top of all that, this happens. Congress just approves $1.375 billion for a border wall in 2021. I mean, look, everyone here who's a big fan of MMT is probably going to be like, Lance, why are you even talking about this? All right, this is not the way the budget works. You should understand modern monetary theory. All right, that we have a fiat currency, the Federal Reserve prints money in order to Still, the average layman doesn't really understand that idea, and a lot of people don't even like to wrap their heads around it, because it makes the brain hurt. So if I want to talk about just dollars and cents, simple terms, dollars and cents from the pounds and the kids for cash and all that kind of stuff, then a $1.375 billion border wall seems ridiculous, as does the $500 million for Israel, as does the billions upon billions of dollars for missiles, bombs, and other stuff to kill people overseas. Like, none of that should be a priority right now. And the fucked up thing is that, like, you as a taxpayer, and the same thing with me, by the way, I'm not above the fray. As a Canadian, I produce bombs to bomb the Yemenis children. It's horrifying. Yeah, but we're the ones who are paying for all this. That's what the government is, in essence. Your taxes fund this whole little loopy project or experiment or whatever you want to call it. So maybe the libertarians were right. Taxation without representation, or taxation with weird-ass representation. That's more like that seems to be what's going on here. Why are we still talking about the border wall? I don't understand this.
Congress will approve $1.375 billion for a wall along the southern border as part of the $1.4 trillion omnibus spending bill for the next fiscal year, according to GOP sources. Congress is expected to pass the measure on Monday, along with the $900 billion COVID-19 relief bill. The White House signaled Sunday evening that President Trump would sign it. Trump had previously given conflicting signals on whether he'd support the massive package, which congressional leaders in both parties backed on Sunday.
Well, you had to. You didn't want to come out as like anything other. And I mean, this is going to be kind of moot on this audience, but the border wall is pointless because the majority of immigrants in the United States who are there illegally started out legally, and then they overstayed their visas. Planes exist. Planes go over walls, so they can land by plane. That whole thing.
Now, $600, first of all, stimulus, as I've discussed, is the wrong terminology for this. People are struggling right now. Mass eviction crisis. Hunger is at an all-time high. This is not a stimulus. People need the money. These are survival checks. $600.
I don't know if it's even like a survival check at this point. How much is a funeral in the United States? I'm going to guess a funeral is more than $600. This isn't even bury yourself money. Not even. And I'll be honest, like, at this point, I'd probably just take that money and get fucked up. Like, with all the other problems that I have in my life, with everything else that's going on, if I was evicted, if I was worried about being homeless, if I don't have health care, if the COVID was just ravaging me and my family, $600 would be like, yeah, okay, I'm getting fucked up. That's what that money's going towards. And I know I'll be judged for it, but at the end of the day, fuck, what am I left with? What am I left with? I paid more than this in taxes last year. Like, again, I can't even buy a funeral with this. I can't bury my own body with this $600.
Compared to other countries, it's nothing. Also,
breakfast and a gun
what was in this deal for corporations. Also, this $600 is just, it's not enough. Now, a little more commentary here from Common Dreams. Survey results released Saturday show that 88% of likely voters say they would support Congress sending out another round of one-time $1,200 direct payments, data that came a day after Republican Senator Ron Johnson twice blocked passage of a bill to provide such relief to working-class Americans.
So here's the weird flex I was warning y'all about, and I apologize in advance for this, but if you don't know, I live in British Columbia. We recently, for the first time, I believe since the 90s, gave a majority government to the NDP, who are the Soc Dems of Canada, Canada's Soc Dem party. So we're the only Soc Dem government right now in North America, technically. We are far more broke than California, the state, than the US. We have less money. And yet, this just happened. The BC government just recently said, by the way, if you need to, we are going to provide an additional $500 for individuals or $1,000 for eligible families. No questions asked. One-time tax-free payment called the BC Recovery Benefit. That just happened like that. Again, this is in a province that has less money. This is in a province that should, for all intents and purposes, not be such a dichotomy to the US right now. But that's just an example of if you had a government that was directly working for, say, the workers or the people in this exception. It's $500 for individuals with a net income up to $62,000 and the reduced benefit amount for individuals with a net income up to $87,000. This is the second time they've done this. This is in addition to the federal program in Canada called the CERB, which is a $2,000 a month program, which has been in effect since the start of the pandemic, in large part to Jagmeet Singh and the NDP, pushing the Liberals who were like, yeah, can't someone else do it? And again, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that in any way to weird flex or to humble brag or to be like, yeah, look how much better it is up here than down there. It's to juxtapose this, to be like, because there's a lot of people who keep saying, well, yeah, but we can't just give citizens money. We can't give them free money. If we do that, we'll run up deficits. And on top of that, they won't know what to do with it. I mean, they're the poors. The poors don't know how to handle money. We have to teach them. But at the same time, we do believe in welfare. We believe in corporate welfare. We would like to give millions, if not billions upon billions of dollars to large corporations. Because they're the true welfare queens. They need it. If they don't get it, well, they might go somewhere else. And we don't want that. You know, they threaten us with a bad time all the time. They're always like, yeah, we'll take off. We'll go somewhere else. Which is a weird threat, because how's that going to work out?
What lies around the corner? Never knowing who's going to kill you. Are you the next one to be murked? You never know if it's a friend or a foe. If you want to see the biggest names in BreadTube, Left Twitch, and Butterthing, and I don't know the fucking names anymore, come see Left Among Us.
If you want us to advertise your channel or work, please go to weareserfs.com and email us a 20 to 30 second ad, and we'll take it on to the end of one of our videos to help promote your leftist channel or progressive something. Whatever you do.
To our God, I'm Rast, Xander Corvus, and Schlatsky, we shall commit blood sacrifices in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, our lives are yours to command. To our lords, Jeffrey Lamb, Trevor R., Stephen, Hans Josephine, Poppy Nelson, Ryan Lubin, Jimothy K. Meeblebeeps Jr., we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our knights of the round table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Bythe, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Political Puppy, Jimmy Bignuts, Andreas Chitoro, Good Poon Hates Cops, That's Solid Poon Then, Dr. Zayas, Yoppie, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Jack Darko, Thomas Barretton, J. Fraser Cartwright, Goofalankius, Melissa Murphy, Nicholas Marks, Alexander Thaler, Ali Rada Jaffer, Alex Gauvin, Radical Maniac, we salute you.